It is an old, blind dog, Athena. I will Venmo you $50 for a new one. My sister Jordan held up a charred leather collar to the camera. She was not crying. She looked annoyed. Behind her, my kitchen walls were black with soot. Jax was just playing, she said. Now, stop being dramatic. Mom's cruise leaves in 4 hours. I lay frozen in the ICU bed, the plastic neck brace preventing me from looking away. The screen went black. Jordan had hung up. I stared at the reflection in my phone, the neck brace, the bruises blooming across my cheekbone like spilled ink. My chest heaved against the broken ribs, searching for air that felt too thin to breathe. Then, a notification banner slid down the screen. Alert, kitchen camera offline. My blood ran cold. Jordan was not just leaving the scene. She was sanitizing it. She was unplugging the router, cutting the power, doing whatever she had to do to make sure the evidence of her negligence vanished into the ash. She thought she was smart. But she forgot who I am. My name is Athena. I am 32 years old, and I am a forensic auditor. I do not just look at spreadsheets. I hunt for the secrets people hide in the margins. I spend my life tracking digital footprints that criminals think they have washed away. Jordan might know how to light a match, but she does not understand that the cloud remembers everything. I lunged for my laptop bag on the chair beside the bed. Pain exploded in my shoulder, white and blinding. But I gritted my teeth and dragged the computer onto the mattress. My fingers flew across the keyboard. My left hand was useless, strapped to my chest. So I pecked at the keys with my right, fighting the tremor in my fingers. Battery. 4%. I cursed. The hospital Wi-Fi was garbage. A single bar fluctuating in and out. I tethered it to my phone. The connection sputtered, then caught. I logged into the security interface. The live feed was dead, just a gray static screen. Jordan had already killed the connection. But the cache, the temporary cloud backup, held the last 20 minutes before the power cut. It was sitting there, buffering, waiting to be overwritten by the system reset. I had seconds. Maybe a minute. I clicked the file stamped 10:42 a.m. The download bar appeared. A thin blue line crawling across the screen. Estimated time. 45 seconds. I watched the percentage climb. 10%. 20%. I clicked play on the preview while it saved. I needed to see it. I needed to know. The video was grain sharp. There was Jax, standing in the middle of my kitchen. He was holding a red marine flare, something I kept in the emergency kit in the garage. He was giggling. Jordan was there too. She was not stopping him. She was holding her phone up, finding the right angle for TikTok. Do it, she said. Her voice was clear on the audio. It will look cool with the smoke. Jax pulled the tab. The flare hissed, spitting a brilliant, blinding crimson light. He waved it around, laughing as sparks hit the linoleum. Then, the heat burned his hand. He yelped and tossed it. It did not land on the floor. It landed inside the wooden crate in the corner. Barnaby was sleeping inside. I watched, bile rising in my throat, as the dry wood caught instantly. The smoke billowed up, black and oily. Barnaby scrambled, thumping against the latched door. He barked a confused, panicked sound. Jordan did not run to the crate. She did not grab the fire extinguisher mounted 3 feet away on the wall. She grabbed her Louis Vuitton purse from the counter. She grabbed Jax by the arm. And she ran out the back door. She left him. She prioritized Italian leather over a beating heart. Download. 98%. 99%. The screen flickered. The hospital lights buzzed. Download complete. A second later, the app refreshed. Connection to server lost. The cache was wiped. The feed was gone. If I had waited another 30 seconds, the truth would have been smoke. I closed the laptop. I did not scream. I did not cry. The grief I felt for Barnaby was still there, heavy and suffocating, but it was being encased in something harder, something cold. They thought I was a victim lying in a hospital bed. They thought I was helpless. I looked at the file on my desktop. Evidence_arson.mp4. I was not a victim. I was a witness with a weapon. I lay back against the pillow, the plastic of the neck brace slick with sweat. The video file sat on my desktop like a radioactive isotope. My mind, trained to find patterns in chaos, began to drift. Not to the fire, but to the math. It always came back to the math. $5,800. That was the number. Every first of the month. For 10 years. It left my account automatically. It paid the mortgage on the 4-bedroom colonial in the suburbs. It paid for the landscaping my mother insisted on. It paid for the country club membership she said was essential for networking. I closed my eyes and saw my own bank statements. I saw the years I lived in a studio apartment with a radiator that hissed and rattled all night. I saw the ramen noodles. The thrift store blazers I wore to interviews. The car with the tape on the bumper. I lived like a ghost, so Susan could live like a queen. $696,000. That was the total. I had poured nearly $750,000 into a family that just watched my dog burn. My phone buzzed again. This time, the screen lit up with a photo of my mother, smiling at a gala I paid for. Mom calling. I swiped green. I put it on speaker. Athena, she said. Her voice was tight, high-pitched. Please tell me you are dealing with this mess. I stared at the ceiling tiles. I am in the ICU, Mom. I have 3 broken ribs and a fractured vertebrae. And I have a suitcase full of clothes that smell like a bonfire, she snapped. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get smoke out of silk? The cruise leaves in 4 hours. And Jordan is a wreck. She is hysterical. Jordan is hysterical, I repeated. Because she committed a felony. Oh, stop it. Susan's tone shifted, dropping into that familiar, reasonable register she used to gaslight everyone in her orbit. You always have to use such big words. Felony. Arson. It was an accident, Athena. Jax is a spirited boy. You know that. She sighed, a sound of long-suffering patience. Honestly, why did you even keep a wooden crate in the kitchen? You know he needs stimulation. You know he gets bored. Leaving a blind dog in a flammable box right where a child plays. It is like you wanted something to happen. You practically invited this. The air in the room felt thin. There it was. The pivot. The mechanism I had watched her use my entire life. In Susan's world, victims were just accomplices who had not learned to dodge yet. If you got hit, you were standing in the wrong place. If you got burned, you were too flammable. You are blaming me, I said. My voice was raspy, dry. I am saying you need to take responsibility for your environment, she corrected. Now, look. Jordan says she offered you $50. That is generous for a rescue dog. Take it. Call the insurance company. And tell them it was an electrical short. We do not need a fuss right before the trip. An electrical short, I echoed. Yes. It is cleaner. And handle the police report. Tell them you gave Jordan permission to be there. I do not want any drama at the airport. She did not ask about the pain. She did not ask if I could walk. She just gave me my assignment. Cleaner. Quiet. Solved. I will handle it, I said. Good. I knew you would be reasonable. We will bring you back a souvenir. The line clicked dead. I looked at the phone. I looked at the file on my laptop screen. Evidence_arson.mp4. She wanted me to handle the insurance. She wanted me to handle the bank. I felt a strange, cold calm settle over me. It was the feeling of a ledger finally balancing out. Okay, Mom, I whispered to the empty room. I will handle it. Night fell over the ICU. The overhead lights dimmed to a dusky blue, but the machines did not stop. The rhythm of the heart monitor was the only sound in the room. Beep, 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 a metronome, counting down the seconds until my family disappeared. I could not sleep. The pain medication took the edge off the broken bones, but it could not touch the rage. It sat in my gut, heavy and cold. I picked up my phone with my good hand. My thumb hovered over the contacts, but I did not call. I opened Instagram instead. I needed to see it. I needed to see them. Jordan had posted 3 minutes ago. It was a selfie taken in the back of an Uber Black. She was doing that duck face pout she thought was cute. The lighting was moody. City streaks blurring behind her. The caption read, "Rough day, but excited for the royal suite. Hashtag family first. Hashtag vacation mode. Hashtag family first." I stared at the hashtag until the pixels blurred. Then, I zoomed in. My auditor's eye caught the detail she missed. Jordan was wearing her denim jacket, the one with the rhinestone fringe. On the left shoulder, smeared into the fabric, was a dark, greasy smudge. Soot. She had not even changed. She had walked out of my burning house, stepped over the wreckage of my life, and climbed into a luxury car to go on a $28,000 vacation. She was wearing the ashes of my home like an accessory. They were not mourning. They were not sorry. They were celebrating their escape. I lowered the phone to my chest. Tears pricked my eyes, hot and sharp. I thought about Barnaby. I thought about how he used to rest his chin on my knee when I worked late. I thought about how he trusted us to keep him safe. And I thought about the $696,000 I had poured into their lives so they could treat me like this. I took a breath. The air tasted like antiseptic. I decided to give them one last chance. Not because they deserved it, but because I needed to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I had tried. I needed the moral high ground to be absolute. I opened my text thread with Susan. Me. Mom, do not get on that boat. The police need to speak to Jordan about the fire. If you leave the jurisdiction, it is going to look like flight. I watched the 3 dots bubble up. She was typing. She was deleting. She was typing again. Mom. Stop it, Athena. The house is insured. That is what insurance is for. You handle the paperwork. You are good at that boring stuff. I will deal with you when I get back. Do not ruin this for me. Do not ruin this for me. She did not care about the police. She did not care about the law. She thought she was untouchable because she had me her cleaner, her fixer, her bank. She thought I would sweep the ashes under the rug just to keep her happy. She was right about one thing. I am good at paperwork. I did not reply. I did not need to. She had just officially refused the life raft. I closed Instagram. I opened my email. If she wanted me to handle the paperwork, I would handle it. I would handle it so thoroughly she would never have to worry about a mortgage payment again. Handle the paperwork, she said. I stared at the words on the screen until they blurred. Susan thought paperwork meant lying to an insurance adjuster. She thought it meant forging a police report to say it was an electrical short so she could get a new granite countertop out of the deal. She forgot who I am. I am a forensic auditor. I do not cover up crimes. I expose them. I spent the last decade hunting executives who thought they could hide embezzlement in the footnotes. I know exactly how paperwork works. It is a weapon. And my mother just handed me the launch codes. I pulled the laptop back onto my lap. My shoulder screamed in protest. A hot, jagged line of pain. But the adrenaline numbed it. I was not Athena the daughter anymore. I was the auditor. And I was opening a file on the Henderson family. I logged into the homeowner's insurance portal. My name was on the deed, so I had admin access. I navigated past the File a Claim button. That is for accidents. That is for victims. Instead, I went to the compliance section. I selected the form for material breach disclosure. It asked for details. I did not give them a sob story. I gave them data. Cause of loss, intentional act/arson. Perpetrator, resident relative, minor. Guardian status, negligent/complicit. I uploaded evidence_arson.mp4. I hit submit. The screen refreshed instantly. A red banner appeared at the top of the dashboard. Claim. Flagged. Policy suspended. Pending investigation. In the insurance world, that red banner is a death sentence. It means the carrier is invoking the intentional acts exclusion. They would not pay a dime for the repairs. Susan was now personally liable for $45,000 in fire damage. But that was just the jab. The hook was coming next. I took a screenshot of the policy suspended notice. I opened a new email. Addressed to the risk mitigation department of our mortgage lender. Subject. Urgent. Collateral risk. Insurance cancellation. Notice of acceleration. I attached the screenshot. I cited Clause 14B of the mortgage contract. Failure to maintain valid hazard insurance on the collateral constitutes a default event, triggering immediate acceleration of the total debt. I was not asking them to look into it. I was formally notifying them that their asset, the house, was currently a burnt, uninsured liability. Banks do not like risk. When they see an uninsured, damaged house, they do not ask for a monthly payment. They ask for all the money back. Right now, I hit send. The clock started ticking. Within hours, the bank's algorithm would flag the account. By the time Susan landed in the Caribbean, that house would not be a home. It would be a foreclosure asset. I cut the final thread by logging into my accounts. The Amex. The Visa. Susan's cards were only authorized users. I was the guarantor. I didn't cancel them. I marked them. Lost or stolen. Fraudulent use. The response was instant. Cards deactivated. Identity freeze placed. That lock doesn't just stop spending. It locks the person. I closed my laptop, listening to the oxygen machine. No guilt. Just the clean satisfaction of a balanced ledger. She told me to handle the paperwork. I did. 30 miles away. At the international terminal, the trap closed. Susan and Jordan stood at VIP check-in, red carpet and orchids. Susan slid the black Amex across the counter. Beep. Declined. Again. Beep. Code 0 to 4, the agent said. Card flagged as stolen. He confiscated it. Visa. Declined. MasterCard. Declined. The illusion collapsed as the line stared. My phone rang in the ICU. Athena. Fix this. They aren't your cards, I said calmly. Look to your left. Gabriel stepped forward in his court suit, flanked by airport police. He blocked Susan's path and handed her a legal envelope. The insurance is void, he said. The mortgage is accelerated. You owe $340,000 today, or foreclosure begins. You have no home. Susan begged. We were family, Gabriel said. Now we are litigants. Police moved to Jordan. Arrest? For TikTok? She cried. Felony arson and child endangerment. Handcuffs clicked. Susan screamed into the phone. You can't leave us homeless. You left me in an ambulance, I said. You chose a vacation over my life. So I burned your credit. Enjoy holding. I hung up. 3 months later, my new apartment was quiet, golden quiet. Seattle rain washed the streets clean. Barnaby's urn sat on the mantel with his tennis ball. My balance. $24,600. Not luck. Just my money. Finally staying mine. Susan lost the house, the car, the club. Jordan took a plea deal. Their misery was no longer my responsibility. A letter arrived. Susan's handwriting. I didn't open it. I fed it straight into the shredder and watched it vanish. Peace isn't an apology. Peace is not needing one. I lost a lot in the fire, but I burned away the parasites too. If you're setting yourself on fire to keep others warm, stop. You are not their ATM. You are the architect of your own life, and you are allowed to lock the door.